My dad has actually fell on my watch 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, when I turned one way to grab a diaper, I think it was. He slipped on the towel, hit his head on the back of the toilet, the tank, hit his shoulder into the garbage can, which the old garbage cans are made kind of like heavy duty, like almost like steel or iron, and he hurt his shoulder. So, and that was on my watch. So, and if you're the caregiver, of course you feel really, really bad, but you can't blame yourself and beat up on yourself, if things do happen, because if you're doing your best, that's all you can do. You can't be with them every single second, or you would go crazy. If that's the case, then better not to come, because that's too stressful. It is stressful even for me. This will be our third night, and because the first night was actually canceled from the flight, and so for me 3 nights was just about right. But normally it goes 4 nights or 5 nights. 5 nights is more of the norm. 6 days, 5 nights. I think that would be too long. And so I do the night shift, and whoever does night, it's really, really tough. My sister's a light sleeper, and she gets really grouchy and stuff. So I just do it. But 5 nights is actually too long, even for me. 4 nights I'm pushing it. By the 5th night, I remember last year or the year before, I had her do 1 night. I think the 3rd or 4th night. But then she's kind of grouchy, and it's hard. So I prefer shorter, and I'll just do it, and then I'll just get through it. I get a little edgy and a little irritated at my dad too when I'm tired. He does crazy stuff. Like today, he slept all day, so he felt better, I think. So when he gets stronger, he gets more defiant, and then he does things like he's not supposed to. Like he doesn't call me with the bell. He just gets up, and once the walker was there, so he got up, and when I heard the water being turned on, then I ran there, and he was up. I scolded him, but he's oblivious to it. And then the second time, I took the walker away, so he couldn't, use the walker. He still got up, and he managed to get to the sink by, hanging on to our, we had the special toilet seat that kind of has handrails, and he got to the sink. So, they will. If there's a will, there's a way, and they'll figure it out. So it's something that you have to constantly be on, and you have to have boundaries of how much will I do and how much I won't, and make sure everyone part of the group or who is part of the family understands that you can't be with them 24 hours a day. And if that's the case, then either hire somebody, which will be very expensive, or don't come. It's not worth your own sanity. But if you're willing to take the risk and everyone is on the same page, like we brought my dad and mom here, not always my mom, probably about, let's say dad, probably 17 times, roughly 15 to 17 times. And he has fallen maybe 3 times in the casino once, and with me on the toilet seat, and 1 more time. Fortunately, he never was seriously injured, but he could have with that falling on hitting his head on the toilet. My mom, she didn't fall except that 1 time, which was she fell off the bed, broke her ribs, broke her collarbone, and then started to hallucinate. And she has dementia at that time, which was actually Alzheimer's. She has severe Alzheimer's now, and that made her, it actually advanced a little bit faster. And I don't think she really came back 100% after that fall. So, anything can happen. So I guess the question is, are you willing to take the chance and bring them here to fulfill a dream or a hope that they have, that they could go to Las Vegas again? That, if they have this, if that motivates them to live, gives them hope, are you willing to take that risk? And maybe they'll fall, maybe they'll get hurt, maybe they'll die. The chances are more unlikely if you're careful and you folks are switching off and making sure everybody does their share. But I think it is. I've done it with my sister Susan, probably for my dad 17 times. Mom was probably about 10. I think it was very, very worth it. Of course, any one of those times something could have happened, but we're fortunate that, my mom did have something happen, but we're fortunate that Dad was able to come. And so I still feel a heavy responsibility until we get on the plane, 6 hours on the plane, get him to the care home, Once I release him back to the care home, this heavy, heavy load of bricks on my shoulder will be gone and I will be free. But when I look back in hindsight, I always felt that it was worth it, because you want your parents or your relatives or your senior friends to have something to look forward to have a great memory. And a lot of people write on my Facebook, it's all about making memories. I believe that. When you die and pass on, it's not going to be how many cars you had, or what kind of car you had, or how big and how expensive your house was. It's basically going to be your memories. That's all you're going to have to take with you at the end. And that's why it's hard with Alzheimer's patients or dementia patients when they don't have the memory. They don't have those memories anymore. And that's why it's a very cruel disease, dementia and also Alzheimer's. But anyway, that's why we do it. And I know this is the last trip for my dad. I've kind of told him, I've told my relatives, I've told my sister, I said, this is just too hard, especially for me and the plane and the night shift. I can't keep doing this. I'm not young anymore, but even if I was young, it's still a lot to always be on and thinking about it. So when I come, for me, it's a job. And I don't think about playing or gambling unless I'm there with him and just doing it on the side. Or I don't go shopping usually, outside of maybe Trader Joe's with him, because it's a job. And so, I do it for him, and that I want him to be happy and to have, his life fulfilled in the best way possible. But this is the last trip, for sure. We used to always say that, kind of a reverse superstition, like, okay, this is the last trip, and then it wasn't, and it wasn't. And that was like 7 years ago, and we kept saying, it became kind of funny, like a joke, hey, this is the last trip, and it wasn't. But this is the last trip for my dad. And he won't be back next summer for the reunion. That's what he used to really look forward to. Mom, of course, hasn't come in about 3 years. We couldn't bring her after she had that fall and broke her collarbone, dementia, hallucinations. And the doctor told us that she shouldn't be traveling. We were very naive, and so we learned the hard way. So I'm just sharing that with you. You talk to your doctor. Don't listen to my advice, but just as an idea of what we went through, talk to your doctor, your personal private physician, to find out, if your parent or your uncle or your auntie or senior or whoever you want to bring is suitable to travel. Many times the doctors will leave it up to us. Like this one was up to us because Dad was getting sick and we were wondering we should take him. Alvin, my dad's cousin, was already here, and we had a lot of things going on. But I'm glad we brought him. I'm really happy. This is the last trip. I think he's done, but I think he's also realized that he has limitations, his mobility, also his eyesight is getting bad, so he can't really see what's going on in the crap table. And even me, it's so far away, hard to see. But even the machines, which is right here, he has a hard time seeing and pushing I saw him push the wrong button a couple of times for the poker. I think he realizes that he's reaching a certain limitation. So in that way, it's sad, but yet I think we brought him to as far as we could have without hurting him. And hopefully I get him home safely tomorrow, and that'll be the final trip. So anyway, thanks for listening. I hope this has been helpful to you in some ways. If you're interested on the YouTube channel, I'm trying to get a few more subscribers. I think I have 66. I'd like to get out to 100. But if you are interested in hearing more about this or some of the other videos that I do, sometimes it's about Japan, sometimes it's about intercultural things or study abroad, please click on to the subscribe button that's on the YouTube page. Thanks again. This is Mike Matsuno, the California Hotel, on the last night with my dad on his last trip. And let's pray that we make it back safe and sound without any incident. Thanks for listening.